to me that there was something that we call life after death. My friend got up. His face was drenched with tears. He was crying. He was all red. Poor Brett. And I was so happy. And Brett took me in his arms. We hugged. And I said to him, I said, Brett, it's so wonderful, wonderful. And I said, did you see him? And he said, yes, I saw him. And I said, did you hear what he said to me? He said, no, I didn't hear your conversation, but I saw him. And later on, Brett told me that when Elvis touched me, I became all white and shiny. It's, yes, it was a very, very strong moment of my life and the most beautiful day in my life.
Elvis was not the man that we thought.
No, it's like there were like two Elvises. Like there was the image, and you know, he had to be a sexy man, talented man, and that, you know, all the women were crazy about him. I think his manager didn't want him to, he didn't want Elvis to go and preach on the streets, you know, and be some kind of a messiah. He had to remain that sexy and talented singer with that beautiful, gorgeous voice. And on the other hand, there was that man, that very deep man, very spiritual, because Elvis studied many spiritual books. He was very, very kind, very good, very sweet, very intelligent. I'm talking about him like this because I saw him many times later on after that first vision I had with Brett, and he really himself gave me the proof of the wonderful, wonderful soul he is, the beautiful person. In some dramatic and very hard and tragic moments of my life, he was really there to help me. You can really count on him. He was there to help me. He was very supportive, very kind. He gave me lots of comfort. He's very beautiful soul, a beautiful spirit, and I cherish his memory. I owe him everything. He changed my life in something beautiful, in something good. He opened so many spiritual doors for me. You know, thank you, Elvis, for those magical doors that you opened for me, those spiritual kingdoms. He inspired me for my readings. He was always there when I needed him. Gave me so much love, so much comfort, so much help. Such a beautiful soul and person, and a wonderful man.
Is Elvis using you to transmit a message, something he could not do while alive?
It's possible. I think so. I think Elvis has a message for humanity. I think Elvis wants to say to the world, love thy brother, love one another, be kind to one another. Life is sacred and life is holy. So respect one another, be kind to another. I think it's a message of love. Yes, Elvis is transmitting to the world a message of love, a message of brotherhood, a message of compassion. I see it that way, yes.
You have a website on that subject.
Yes, I wanted to pay a tribute to Elvis because he changed my life in something so beautiful and wonderful. Now I am almost mystical. As I said, he inspired me for my readings, spiritual readings. He taught me so much, not only him, but also my spiritual guides. But he was the one. I really consider Elvis as a spiritual master. He was my first guide. He was my first spiritual guide. And I really fell in love with that beautiful soul. I fell in love with his inner beauty, with his beautiful heart. I feel emotional, you know, I feel like crying when I say that because I had such a terrible image of him, and I'm really sorry for that. But
and then the great Michael the archangel comes in person to visit you.
Well, yes, but see, back then, because I wasn't religious, you know, I didn't know who he was. I didn't know who was Michael the Archangel, because I didn't know the name of the saints. So I was with two American friends in LA, two beautiful persons, very evolved spiritually. And suddenly there was that entity that said, you know, I am Michael the Archangel. And back then I didn't know, I hadn't heard the word Archangel, so I didn't know to pronounce it well. You know, my friends were laughing because I couldn't pronounce his title very well, and he gave us a message, but I don't remember, so I guess it was maybe a message just for my two friends, not for me. I have to say something very important. There are many ways for spirits, ghosts, to manifest. Like, you can see them with your physical eyes and hear them with your physical ears, and they can also send you a mental image. You know, so it's like you have a vision. So I didn't see him with my physical eyes, but he sent me probably a mental image. Of course, they are also using also other ways of communication, not only those two. But so I think he sent me a mental image because he was very, very tall. He almost touched the ceiling, and he had the blue robe on. So yes, but as I said, I didn't know who he was, so it wasn't really a big shock for me. I wasn't.
From that moment, everything seems impossible to believe, hard to accept. You say there is life on Venus, on other planets.
Yes, but for me it's not surprising and not impossible, because in many ways Elvis raised me with my spiritual guides. They raised me, so it's not, I believe, it's not that I believe, I know, because sometimes I can have access in a modified state of consciousness to those other worlds and kingdoms, spiritual kingdoms. So yes, there are entities that live on Venus and on other planets, but you can't see them with your eyes because those entities vibrate at a higher rate or speed. It's important to say that before we are a body of flesh, we are a vibration. We are a length wave. And we seem to be physical because we vibrate on this planet, because it's a third dimensional planet. We vibrate at a very low speed. That's why we seem physical. But on many other planets and dimensions, the entities vibrate at a higher speed, so they're invisible for most of the humans. So if the scientists would send on Venus some kind of a device or a machine, they will not see any kind of extraterrestrial, they will not see life, because those devices, those machines, they will only be able to record and film something that's three-dimensional. But it doesn't mean, because most of the human beings don't see with their eyes, that those people don't exist. They really do. But as I said, they live in other dimensions and they vibrate on higher speeds or rates.
How come you were able to see them?
I don't know. Maybe they worked on my third eye, or maybe they did something with my chakras, or they worked on my astral body or my causal mental body, because we have many other bodies, not only the flesh body. It's invisible, but there are many bodies. So I don't know, they probably did something to me. Maybe my vibrations became very fast. I had a very healthy life, as I said, so maybe that helps. You know, having a high vibrations and being able to see them.
Why all those things happened to you?
I don't know. I'm still trying to understand. Maybe I am here to be some kind of example of love